You want to speak? You can ask for the speaker permission. I think we are the only two today. So let's chat. Let's talk. Yep, I guess. Okay, we still have 1 minute to go. Let's see more people join and we can start the discussion around H1B then. H1B, visa, whatever. I just wanted to discuss today's news. Thanks, Angad, for joining. Uh, if any of you wants to speak, you can request for the speaker permission in Twitter space. And if anybody on YouTube wants to hear their question, they can. Looks like we are the only three today. And you guys don't want to speak, then I'll share the news. The H1B news. Nvidia has announced that they are ready to pay the $100,000 fee for the new H1B applicants. That's a big news. I'm not sure how the market is going to respond to this news or how the consulting companies like TCS, Infosys, and others are going to grab or grasp that information. I'm pretty sure they are not going to pay because I have heard a lot from other attorneys and other people that these companies are setting up centers offshore and nearshore to mitigate the effects of this new fee set up by Trump government. And as of now, the fees is only applicable to people who are going to file the H1B application in the Feb 2026 lottery. A lot of people
Nvidia can pay, right? I mean, but they are just slapping around trillions of dollars deal across the open AI and this whole AI model, right? So by acquiring,
yeah,
merging, throwing out money, taking in money, just
right,
talking in billions only. So 100K for them shouldn't be a big deal.
right, yeah. And his statement is also very aggressive. He said that NVIDIA exists because of the H1B talent, and we are not going to shy away from paying the fee. But the consulting company business model is very different, and they might not be able to eat that fee, right? Or they might just charge it to the client, and maybe the client is able to absorb some of that fee if they want people physically in the US. But I doubt how they're going to work out that portion because not a small amount. $100,000 is a big one for just one person and one employee on the ground. Let's see how things will turn out. Has anyone of you heard anything from your employer about it? How are they going to react to it?
I mean, mine is they are slowly setting up the GCC thing for past couple of
Okay.
years now that I think they will probably expedite that whole process. But yeah, the groundbreaking and all that stuff has been happening since last year and a half, and then some of the delegates from the local state government from India for that state also
Uh-huh.
came, visited the leadership here, and kind of. So I don't know, but yeah, for now there is nothing that sets up my employer for having to file new H1Bs for people outside the USA. So I don't know
So
how it's
what,
gonna
what
work.
you what do you mean by GCC? What is the full form?
Global Capability Center. So this term is it's like it's the term they use for offshore operations. All this Mainly US based companies who don't have the setups outside US for them.
Okay, got you. Okay, I was not aware of this term, but yeah, that's good to know.
Anil, off track topic. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm seeing like a lot of site visits happening for the people who are already on H1s, and some of the people also getting NOIR, basically a notice of intent to reject. Is it true? Like people are getting it, and is it like once they get the notice, is it something something there in like 99% chances are like they have to leave the country?
It depends on what kind of NOID or the notice of intent to revoke they're getting. But yes, the news is true. They are getting it. I'm also hearing it. And a lot of people on WhatsApp are also sharing it. Yeah, there is some noise around it. In fact, in our last live, one of the guy said that his friend got a surprise visit from the USCIS officer, and he kept sitting behind him for 2 hours and asked him to keep working so that he can observe what kind of activities he is doing, and if they match the with the exact thing mentioned in the H1B petition. So they are going, you know, at going into very deep details of what kind of work you do, and if it is really an H1B specialty occupation. Because these instances have increased. And NOIR is usually issued in very extreme conditions, but these days you can get it even if you have lost your job and you are in the 60-day notice period. They're sending the deportation notice, and then it is not correct because it's their own policy that you get 60 days to find another job. But what is happening is they are putting the onus of maintaining the status on you instead of following their own policy. What usually happens is you will have to hire a lawyer and then file a case in immigration court to get yourself clean and get a judge decision so that you can keep staying in the US. That becomes a little dirty, and then it comes on your record. And if and most of the judges that I heard about the cases are not even aware of that 60-day notice period or 60-day grace period, so to say. So what is happening is judges are asking USCIS again, basically, who issued the notice in the first place, which is wrong. They are asking them what should be done. So that is becoming a very dicey situation. But they have slowed down, but people are still getting that kind of notice. So, if by any chance you lose your job or you leave the job and you want to use a 60-day grace period, as it is, I mean, most of the attorneys are recommending that ask your employer to not withdraw the H1B until you get a new job, so that you get some breathing space there, and USCIS does not get to know that the application is withdrawn. Basically, the approved petition should not be withdrawn, as that's the event that's triggering the issuance of that deportation notice from the court. Because it is very difficult to go to court and then argue about this is the law, this is the portion of the policy that USCIS itself allows. So that's what they are recommending. That's the easier path. But if the employer is not ready to do it, then you have no other option than go for the West. But most of the people that I spoke to, they are saying that their employer is very, very lenient, and they understand the problem and the situation, and they have agreed to not withdraw the petition, the H1B petition, until you have got a new job. So they are happy to help here, because that way you can still use 60-day grace period and not worry about the deportation notice. That's what I'm hearing from people.
Right. Problem mostly it happens is when the site visit is happening, then they ask the questionnaire to you, to your manager, who is in the consulting company. But at the same time, they ask for a client reference. Now, when your H1B is filed, H1B is filed at a set point in time, maybe years, 2 years. And for a consulting company, the project might have changed, and there might not be the same sort of roles and responsibilities any longer. So there is always a chance for a consulting company to have a discrepancy between what the client manager has replied and what your consulting company manager has replied. That can make situation worse actually.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So in that case, what can help is that if you have got the details about whether the amendment was required or not in that case, usually the attorney takes that decision by looking at the job description, the zip codes, the SOC codes, and the salary and the level of the job and other stuff. So it's better that you get an attorney opinion in those cases before switching the jobs or the switching the clients and have it as a proof on email or some kind of black and white uh, like written document so that you have a proof to prove in front of the officer that okay, we took the attorney opinion and then he had this kind of suggestion so that you are on the safe side. You don't have to worry about it in that case. Because attorney's opinion will carry more weight than your own employer's opinion or the employer's HR opinion in that case, right? That's the only
Yeah,
safest
makes
way I
sense.
would, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, if they try to find some issue with something, then they can definitely find. They can also say that the way you are sitting on your chair is not approved as specialty of the patient. So that can also happen, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine that the person is on H1B and his manager is also on H1B, and manager gets to know that officer is sitting behind the employee. Then yeah, manager would also be scared to ask anything.
Yeah, that's true too.
Things are
There
getting very
there is
difficult.
another interesting thing that I learned about, especially on the site visits topic only recently when we had a town hall from the
Okay.
immigration team that they provided basically a guidance on how to handle the USCIS site visits for
Uh-huh.
individuals who have their home registered
Hmm.
or mentioned in an LCA as a work location. And in
Right.
an event, if somebody from USCIS ends up stopping by their address, how to
Uh-huh.
handle. So what they recommended is you can open the door, but you have full right not to let them in and entertain within your property. What you can do is you can ask them that, hey, you know what, just give me few moments or a minutes, and this is like, for example, a Starbucks kind of a place about a
Hmm.
mile or mile and a half or half a mile from this address.
Hmm.
Let's catch up or let's meet up over there and then talk. And then you can probably bring your set of documents whatever they requested or they needed it, and then you can deal and
Okay.
close out the whole situation over there, rather than panicking or trying to figure out what to do in that situation. Should I let them in? This was mainly meant for like women and ladies also. They wanted them
Uh-huh.
to be aware of in such events how to handle, which I found interesting, that you can probably deny them an entry into your property and say, hey, let's catch up or let's meet up at somewhere over there.
Yeah, that's a very good suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you are at home, there can be 100 things that they can point out that this is
Right,
not
right.
right.
And the whole situation, I mean, in such cases, the whole situation itself is panicky, right? Like somebody,
Right,
imagine
right.
somebody from USA saying, hey, you know what, can you show me your LCA? Can you show me your degree evaluation and those kind of stuff? And 10 different thoughts come to your mind, and that you don't know how to handle it. So they are like, you have full right and full authority to say, go stop by that place wherever you mutually agreed to, decided to, and then talk and deal with stuff over there.
Right, right. Because yeah, now that you're saying it, I also I'm trying to imagine that if they're asking for those kind of documents, then you might feel a little stressed because they're asking those questions in front of the family, right?
Right. And I mean, given how things operate here, like
Mm.
It's typically it's basically a solicitation, right? So like nobody's supposed to be in your property, right, without your consent or your permission. So
Right, right, yeah.
doesn't matter what organization they belong to or what firm they belong to for a government service.
Right, right, yeah. In fact, that's a very new thing that I've heard. So I will share it with
Same,
the group
same,
also.
same. Yeah, yeah. I thought of on the site visit topic. I thought I'll share this.
Yeah, very good suggestion. And this is, can I have your name, please? This is Angad.
Yeah, this is Angad. Yes.
Okay, Angad, thanks for sharing.
And Anil,
DJ,
about
you,
this Nvidia 100K fee, like how did you get to know? Is that something that somebody within your friends group or circle or WhatsApp this
so
news
it's
came
in
out,
the,
or did a official release from them came out?
yeah, Business Insider and Reuters reported it this morning that the CEO of Nvidia has said we will pay for it. We are ready to pay. And they said that Nvidia exists because of H1B talent, and we are ready to pay the fee. That's their statement, and it's a very bold statement, I would say. Let's see how far they go and pay for it, but at least they have set the standard, and other companies like at least the big tech might follow because they all want to hoard the talent. If you remember in COVID time, they all hired very aggressively. And I saw one of the podcasts where Zuckerberg was invited, and he had shared his opinion that when other companies are hiring talent without even having any concrete projects, then they are also in the market to hire them because then you want to create scarcity of talent so that they don't get it. That's one of the strategy they follow at the very high level. So I'm pretty sure that if Nvidia is saying this, then others will follow. But not sure about the consulting companies. I read one article the other day, and the consulting companies are trying to create a model where they will be sharing this piece with the clients. So if the client really wants person within the US, physically in the US, then they will be asking for them to reimburse this fee, maybe certain percentages based on the project length and other stuff. But they are trying to create this, as a selling point because everything will start in February. A lot of people they are preparing for filing the new H1Bs. They are trying to create this kind of deal as well. And on the other hand, there was a lawsuit filed in California for to challenging this $100,000 fee rule. It simply says that the president doesn't have the power to add these kind of fees. The president has the power to stop the people from coming into the US, but they cannot add any arbitrary fees to any kind of visa. That's what they're challenging. And a lot of nonprofit hospitals and these kind of companies, usually the nonprofit companies and the hospitals have joined that lawsuit, claiming that they cannot pay that fees. And some of them have also said that they will go bankrupt if they have to pay this fees. So let's see how it goes and what happens in the court. But things are looking good so far because right now nobody is blocked, as per my opinion. Everyone is able to come. Uh, I also heard about cases where people had filed the transfer or the extension after this order came in. The petition was approved, and then they went for the visa stamping in India and got the visa stamp and have entered back US without any issues. No fee was asked, nothing was basically no problem. So at this point of time, I don't think anybody is affected. But definitely the new H1Bs, which will be filed in 2026, will be affected. That's what we are hearing right now.
Yeah, I think there was an article on LinkedIn from an official, like some immigration firm. I don't have a full background of it, the name of them, but yeah, I mean they have clearly highlighted that today is like 15th day, which comes after this proclamation was announced, and their feedback about the past 15 days in terms of they've covered all those like change of status, transfer, employ extensions, amendment filings and all those stuff, and they mentioned they have not seen noticeably any difference in those
Right.
process.
Right.
But again, they are advising, and even employers are also advising on international travel unless it's an emergency, then only go for it. But if it is a non-emergency, then they just kind of doing a cautionary thing, right, that try to avoid if they can. But overall, yeah,
Right.
like you said, there has been no such new pattern or nothing significant in terms of for the folks who are within US and doing all this different things, whether it is transfer, change of status, amendment, whatever, right? So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I've also heard. In fact, I know one guy whose mother died last week, and he called me, and I told him that, you can go, there is no issue. But when he spoke to his employer's attorney, he suggested that, things are not clear, and because nobody is right now restricted, so the government might be thinking about other ways to block some people at least. So there is no guarantee that if you travel now and you will be able to come back next month. So attorney basically said that I cannot guarantee that nothing will happen. So it's up to you if you want to travel or not. But he also said that it's highly risky because anything can happen anytime. They can announce something, and then if you get stuck, then don't tell me that I did not warn you. That's the kind of conservative opinion many attorneys are sharing. But as of today, people are able to travel, people are able to get the visa stamp, and they are able to return. That's the situation. So if you're traveling, travel at your own risk because any new order or any new kind of inclusion in the H1B order can happen or may not happen. It depends on the future dreams of the government. They might, usually they just get something overnight and announce it early in the morning suddenly.
yeah, I was reading like there is not exactly a law, but some sort of, again, it's from Trump 1.0 during COVID era also, and in 2016
Mhm.
also, I mean, where they try to strike down and catch folks on the specialty occupation side of things when it comes
Right,
to H1B. So apparently there is something in going in the background where they are planning to bring something of that sort again and try to cover, and it's essentially coverage for the folks who are non-impacted by this proclamation is what I think their intention is to target, um, by this doing certain, yeah, I don't know, modifications or verbiage or language change around specialty occupation, and then defining only certain categories of
right.
work, or basically trying asking employer to justify or prove how that individual's specialty occupation is directly tied to the role and the work that he or she is
Yeah,
performing. So
right. There is a lot going on behind the scenes, in fact, because one of them is the wage rule that they are preparing to announce shortly. Uh, and that is going to change the game completely in favor of the high wage, or you can say the big tech, right? Consulting companies are not going to pay you that kind of salary anyway. So anybody who gets the highest job offer will have the highest chance of getting selected, and they might just bring it down to the existing extensions as well.
is there a number around that? Do you know? Any
No,
arbitrary number or something that's put around that wage?
number, it depends on the zip code that you are in. Basically, not
Uh,
you, the job location. The Department of Labor publishes this data for every zip code.
mm-hmm.
That this is the prevailing wage there. So whenever we file H1B application, the employer has to get this prevailing wage report in that zip code, and then they have to pay you at least that much salary or above, right?
Correct,
So
correct.
what
My
the,
question was more towards like, is there a cap being defined on that number, no matter what location, state you are in, as to, hey, this is like issuance to Department of Labor. Any applications coming in, no matter what their location is, with like below 200K or something, prevailing wage, you're not gonna entertain it or look into. That was
yeah,
more.
that's the rule that you cannot give, if it is an H1B applicant, you cannot give less than that prevailing wage. It has to be same amount or higher. And then they are increasing those levels. So for example, last term, what they did was they increased it by on an average about 30 to 50% for each location. So if the location currently was paying $100,000, it was increased to $140,000. I mean, which employer will pay you $40,000 extra immediately? Right? It's a big cost to them. They will be forced to hire someone local, even if they are not qualified, or they might just want to hire someone offshore to get the job done. That's what was the effect of the first term's wage rule. And now they're coming up with the similar wage rule with even more increased salaries and another rule that the highest wager will have higher weight in the selection of the H1B. Is one thing. And second thing is, I mean, it will be very difficult to meet that wage level, I would say. That's what they are aiming for. See, the whole idea is that the job should not go to the H1B in first place. That's their main idea. They want to, you know, weed you out of the market. If you understand the intent, that's the main intent. They just want to get rid of you so that you get demotivated or you have to self-deport yourself. And if the first thing is the fee for the new people, for the existing ones, they are increasing the wage levels to such high levels that you might not find a new employer who will pay you that kind of salary. And people who are, or the employers who are trying to file an extension, they will also have to pay you the higher salary again because the prevailing wage has increased in that area. But then the employer will shy away from filing the extension also. That's what the main intent is, if I understand it correctly. Can you hear me?
Yes, Anil, you're audible. And I was talking to some of the folks who I know who are in
Hmm.
service based companies, mainly like the
Hmm.
TCSs, Infosys, Accentures, Wipros, right?
Hmm.
What I learned and what their observation is from last 3 to 4 years, their count of people who they used to send from India to US and do the whole new H1B filing lottery thing has reduced significantly. So they currently
Right.
have a good set of pool of those applicants who are sitting in US, and they kind of keep on rotating them between different projects or different work locations.
Hmm.
And secondly, they have increased the hiring of non-visa holders who are local here in US. So they may
Right.
not see significant impact. I mean, earlier they are down already to, like, let's say 1,000 applicants. They may not do 1,000 applications for next year, but still that doesn't constitute their major, H1B numbers that come out, right? Hey, these are
Right.
the top three H1B filers. No, those top three H1B filers, the number that's published there, significant portion of it is counted against extension, change of status, versus less number that is like the fresh new H1Bs coming into the US. So
Right. Right. The whole business model revolves around getting the freshers in the mainstream and then, slowly and gradually they grow into different roles. That's how the economy works at every level, right? And that's how the H1B was also working because it was absorbing a lot of international students on H1B visa. But now, because of the wage rule, I am pretty sure the jobs for new students will dry up pretty fast.
also, it will be
So,
interesting to see next year what the final number comes out for the number of applicants who filed for the lottery.
yeah,
I expect them to drop significantly, but I
yes,
won't be surprised if it doesn't drop significantly and maybe like 100K or something drops by, because I think in last few
yeah,
years that number is close to half a million, like 300, 400K
yes,
applications are being filed every year when that annual quota opens. So maybe I guess 100K plus will be done, but
right,
still, especially for
yeah,
the folks who are local here, and then for example H4 EAD kind of audience, right, who filed this year, they got picked up starting October 1 onwards, they would be eligible for their switch to H1 from H4. those kind of
Right.
audience would still be eligible, right? Because they're sitting in US and is exempt from that 100K thing.
Yeah, I also heard one opinion from the attorney that this 100K fee is only applicable on the entry. So they will ask people to pay only if one is physically outside the US, and not to the basically if you are working with some kind of Indian company or maybe Chinese company or any other company anywhere in the world, and you're not here physically in the US when your first H1B is filed, then they have to pay the fee to bring you to the US because the president's order specifically says that it is the fee that you have to pay on the entry if you want to enter the US with new H1B visa. So they had the opinion that it is possible that kids or the students who are already here, they may not have to pay the fee at all. That's all also a viewpoint because the president's authority is on the entry of the people, not on the people who are inside the US who have already entered. That's one of the point as well. But nobody knows until it is really implemented and they come up with the guidance that who has to pay and who doesn't have to pay.
Yeah, at one point they say it's a fresh H1, and then they say like, okay, the people who are already there in US
Right,
don't have to pay. So it's a contradictory again. And
right,
I don't think like FANG like companies, even if they were are able to sponsor for this year, paying 100K. Think about situation person got recruited in Nvidia, and then like after joining for 3 months he left the company and then joined something somewhere else. If the if the if the person is so much talented, then he'll going to leave the company. I mean, he can find some better offers or start his own company or do something else. So
right.
even if he do that, like, I mean, companies are willing to pay 100K, and I mean, then it will be a loss for the companies as well, maybe from next year or whatever.
Yeah, so they might have to define that rule as well, that if the person leaves like within 10 days, then what will you do?
Yeah, I mean, there are no bonds as such. Like, I mean, a person hired from India, he has to work for this company in US for 1 year. Or, those concepts are not there here.
Right, of course. So that is against the labor law,
Another,
right?
Anil, I don't know how much it is going to happen. The outsourcing tax, like whatever the work is getting offshored, uh,
Uh-huh.
is it also a rumor that, or is it something which can become a reality as well? Out-
Reality of,
Outsourcing tax, like you're outsourcing your IT work to the desi companies in India.
I think they are thinking about it. Yeah, I heard about it that they are trying to add tariff to it, how much they are outsourcing. But I don't think it's easy to, quantify how much are you going to
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
Because usually what they do is they set up centers there, and that's a different division of their business completely.
yeah.
So
So think about
that,
all these situations where there are less number of people, economy is not flourishing well, and then they are putting all those kind of tariffs and taxes. People
Mhm.
who are the residents and the citizens will find it very difficult to sustain with the standard of living because everything will be so costlier.
Right, yes. As of now, it is very costly. The news that I'm hearing every day says that inflation has increased because the normal day-to-day items are getting expensive due to tariffs.
Yeah, and we see those things that it is increasing, but because the reports what it comes, it's basically doesn't reports all the things in accordance to what the prices are. So it says just 2% or 2.9% recently, but the things are really inflated, and it doesn't, the report what it comes, CPI numbers, it doesn't project all those things.
Right. The other day, I was discussing this with my friend who is inclined on the right hand side of the government, the right side, you can say. So he was saying that it's the good thing that they have done. But my viewpoint was that because America is basically a consumer economy, and that's why they have you know, whatever new comes into the market, they just quickly grab because of the cost. The cost is so low that they can afford and easily consume and then throw it and then buy again. That's not what happens in other countries. Like for
Yeah.
example,
So,
Europe
but
is very expensive.
the reason why it is happening in US, and it has been happening in the past in US, is the dollar supremacy, right? So
Exactly.
they can make their currency higher, and they can just have the rupee depreciated from 55 to 65 and 75, and they can
Right.
keep cost of the same items uh, years after years the same, because the rupee is depreciating, India is earning
Right.
more. That person who is exporting things, he's thinking that he's making profit out of it, and
Right.
he's actually making profit. But over here, when it comes to US, the same thing you are paying like for years after years. So
Right.
till the time, and now I'm seeing like uh, dollar is basically deviating, and the gold is taking precedence, because I've never seen gold rising so much against the US dollars. It always happens when the US dollar is getting weakened. So there is
Right.
something to it for sure. I'm not like into economics, but like that's what people are predicting, that dollars supremacy will not going to last.
And dollar is always, I mean, historically going back, dollar is always a hedge they call to a weakening economy or for upcoming recession in few years. So people just start piling into safe havens like gold. So that is another reasoning behind why there is a lot of inflow into the gold.
Right. And my opinion is that if they increase the prices so much, because they're adding 50%, 100% tariff to almost everything, right? If things get expensive, people are not going to buy it. And then once they stop buying and start saving more for basic necessities, then the consumer behavior is changing. And once the consumer behavior changes, then it is very difficult to bring it back, right? Like if you see in India, we have the complete saving mentality that save, save, save for the rainy day. And by that rainy day, we are, we grow up to age 65 and then decide to spend that money. So if you do that kind of behavior here in USA, then the whole economy will come down, crashing. Nobody's spending that, or probably nobody has the money to spend on those things.
And I
So,
think the pressure that government is also making on Federal Reserve about, hey, do 50 basis points cut, hey, do 100 basis
right,
points.
right,
Late Powell, what president keeps referring as on his social right, that even that is not helping, right? I mean, if you look at 30-year and 10-year bond rates, right,
right,
the ones that are determining the mortgage for 15 and 30-year, they have spiked since last two cuts. So that essentially doesn't mean that rate cuts will lead to lower cost in your interest rates and again more affordability for home buying. That is again restricting people and
right,
shrinking out the this real estate market more.
right. Ideally, when the market is growing, that means that the sentiment in the overall economy is very high. And if inflation is also high, the federal government should ideally increase the repo rate, the base rate, right? They should not cut it. Because if you're cutting it, then you're throwing more money in the market and then it will lead to another inflation increase. That's what the basic
Yeah, and
economics is.
right. And cutting is essentially in cutting happens only for two reasons. One, either your economy is getting more weak and you want a little bit of QE, quantitative easing, so that you
Right,
want relief, or
right,
you see inflation, labor market, all of the things under control, under 2%, whatever the guidelines is, that's when you do. But in this situation, I think it's more of a, I don't want to call it a stagflationary, but going towards that era where you have an inflation that's growing up, you have economy that is weakening, but then at the same time on a counter you have a strong consumer also. So
right.
economy won't crash if consumer stays strong. If people still have jobs, they'll keep earning, they'll keep on spending. Doesn't matter inflation is at 7% or 5%. Your economy will stay afloat.
Yeah,
See,
but
Federal Reserve is always under pressure. As I see, like in the during the COVID time, they increase the interest rate, saying that our target goal is 2% inflation rate, right, over the period of
mhm,
time.
mhm,
Currently, because of tariff, everybody knows that the inflation will going to go up, and again, they are saying that our target is 2% inflation over the period of time, but it's the same scenario, COVID situation and the tariff situation today, but they are reducing the rates coming under the president's pressure. So
Yeah,
So
good that now that they have shut down, right? Otherwise, there were like inflation numbers that were due tomorrow.
oh, I don't trust these inflation numbers because the
Yeah.
person who was reporting it, he got laid off and stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
yeah,
BLS, the
So
BLS
these
thing
numbers
also they have, yeah, they have
are
modified
fake
the
numbers. Yeah.
definition for those
So
numbers
the
also.
the correct metrics to find out what how the economy is doing is basically the freight numbers, how much of the goods and services are getting coming into the country, and that is under a severe depression. So you see
Yeah.
those numbers, it's really not good.
I mean, imagine the situation where you give some data to your manager and he says, I don't like the numbers, you're fired. I mean, what kind of thing is this? So next time the next manager will be spoofing the numbers so that the manager is happy, right?
Yeah,
It's not going
and
to
the
show the
best
real picture.
yeah, and the best example is nowadays like stock market is not at all worried about these inflation numbers. Otherwise,
Yeah,
CPI
right.
numbers coming, oh, stock market might go up or down. Now stock
Yeah,
market knows, like, don't have to worry about it. So
It's pretty, it's, they call it as raging bull market. That's what the phase of
oh,
market is right now.
it is on steroids these days.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like, I mean, all these investments, all these AI acquisitions. I mean, look at the companies. I can name few of them
Mhm.
that is not gonna be in the revenue generation state for next 12 years, 10 years.
Okay.
But then the people are like the investors are behind it today, running behind it, knowing the fact that they're not gonna be in the revenue generation state for next 10 years. That's
there's
how.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
lot of people.
eventually that's how they call the bubble forms, and one day it pops, and it's crazy. I mean, if you look at the leveraged ETF filings, also there are like three times leveraged ETFs that are available that I was reading about in past 2 days. Now
uh-huh.
available for all the FANG stocks. So you have leveraged three times Apple, leveraged three times Meta, leveraged three times Google, Amazon, right? And people are piling money into it. That's the current state of affairs. And nobody
Okay.
can time it. I mean, it's they call it as fool to time it, right? Hey, it's gonna crash. Hey, economy is weak, and hey, recession is coming. But whenever all of this unfolds, it always gets ugly because the amount
Yeah,
of people, yeah, the leverage that's amount that's sitting in the market right now.
right. In fact, I don't know whether to invest or not. I've been waiting for more than 1 year now. But the market keeps increasing and increasing and increasing. Even when the job report is not great, right? The
Yeah, I
job
think
market
right
has gone
now,
down.
yeah,
There is
for
always a bull market somewhere. I mean, you need to find it. So currently I see healthcare sector will going to do good because it has, not only because it has not done good, but because healthcare was always like, they have to pay n number of amount even if the person has insurance or like
Mhm.
Obamacare and all those things. um,
Right.
now I'm seeing like, and you will see like the whatever the insurances what you will be paying, it will be like at least like more than 50% increase. So insurance companies are supposed to get profitable in the coming years. Insurance is such a sector that where they have to predict in advance that what revenue numbers they're going to get, because they define their policy a year before, like, I mean, before they are launching that, right? So we need to apply for that. So I see like there is a bull market coming there. So if you want to invest in healthcare stocks is what I'm thinking.
Okay. I'll make a note of it.
Yeah,
Healthcare.
and there is no
Oscar
right time,
Guinness.
Anil, there is no right time to be in the market. I mean, you
Yeah,
cannot time.
right.
Nobody can time the market. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
you'll
nobody can
probably
time
invest,
it,
and
but
that's the
but
top. That's the top.
but
That's
yeah,
I think.
but to
Right,
find
right.
out the valuations like 50 PE and all, like to invest in there thinking they're gonna go 100 PE, it's like it's weird. I mean, nobody should do that. So it's better to
Yeah,
find out some good value invest. Even if you want to invest in AI, there are some companies like ASML which is having a monopoly. There are few companies like this which are really good and sitting at a quite reasonable valuations actually.
Yeah, I think what
yes,
matters is the type of investment. What's your expectation out of that investment and horizon? This is what matters before picking up any names or any sector.
right, right.
That's something that needs to be clear in mind that hey, I want to become millionaire overnight. Sure, then you need to talk in a different way. Okay, I have 5 years. I'm ready to DCA, whatever. If this is investment, this is not a trade, those kind of stuff, then you talk in a different way. So that clarity needs
Right.
to be there.
Has anybody of you invested in Bitcoin? I'm hearing.
No, I actually do active trading.
Okay.
So I am right now for past couple of months invested into Ethereum. Um, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is always also there, of course, the leader, but Ethereum is something that I expect to do a catch up play in coming
Okay.
year or so.
Yeah, I heard that a lot of companies are trying to accept Ethereum. Like someone
Yeah,
was telling me Walmart.
there are treasury companies, they call them as treasury companies. So for example, if you look at MicroStrategy or a strategy like the ticker MSTR, right? That's more of a treasury company for Bitcoin. So similar to that, in past few months, there has been a significant push in the direction of having this treasury company set up for Ethereum, where their whole essence would be just keeping on diluting, and the whole cash will be used for purchase of this coins, Ethereum or Bitcoin, whatever it is, right? So Tom
Okay.
Lee, and there is one more investor, I don't know, remember the name, but then Tom Lee, who basically Wall Street likes a lot as like
Mhm.
Gigabull, they call him as whatever. He
Okay.
personally has set up one of the treasuries and for Ethereum. So people are kind of heavily invested and they look forward to trading that particular treasury. It's a bit mine immersion technologies, something of that name. I don't know, but the ticker is BMNR. But yeah, people are behind it. Like they anticipate if Ethereum goes up and you don't have any exposure on the crypto space. On the equity side, you have this treasury companies like BMNR,
Okay.
SBET that will kind of do that catch up trade.
Right. Right. Help me understand. Is Ethereum a proprietary technology, or is it just a general algorithm that anybody can develop and sell it as a service? Any idea
Honestly,
about it?
I don't know too much, but I'm not too much into fundamentals. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, because one of my friend was arguing with it, saying that Walmart is processing its transactions through Ethereum. So I asked him the next question: that is Walmart paying it Ethereum for every transaction that they are doing, or they can develop their own Ethereum, so to say, by just using the algorithm. So he had no answer about it, but he was strongly batting for investing in Ethereum. That's why I'm asking this because I'm also not sure what Ethereum does in real sense and how it is. Basically, I'm trying to find out what is the moat Ethereum has. Like nobody else can replace it easily. If they have that kind of technology, then yes, of course, it's going to get big because it is built on the concept of blockchain, right? And blockchain is what Bitcoin uses. All the crypto coins use blockchain technology, but because Ethereum was created using blockchain, so I was assuming that anybody else can also do it. Why can't Google do it? Why can't Apple do it? And then they can sell it as a service, right? So why would Ethereum be on top of everything if it is a generic algorithm that everyone can develop? That was my essential question. But do you know if Warren Buffett has invested in it?
No, none of the big investors like Duncan Miller, Buffet, or Ackman has ever disclosed any of their positions in this treasury companies or in this
Uh-huh.
crypto
Okay.
space. But I mean, overall, if you look at the cycles of crypto space, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
this current administration has personally been very pro crypto. So in next 3 4 years, how many time that is left, right, for this guy? I mean, even his kid, I don't know who is the Baron, not Baron Trump, but the other guy, Trump Jr. or something. They are
Hmm.
heavily invested personally into a lot of this coins and crypto space. So, if you
Okay.
look at from that perspective, this administration may in future keep on, incorporating or adding some laws, whatever it is, right, to
Hmm.
make it more regulated. This whole crypto
Okay.
industry, which right now it is not.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, that's just my take. And I may be like overstating it, but And it could go other way, right? Of course, it's not
Yeah, yeah,
financial advice, they say. So
right, right, yeah. But yeah, I appreciate that you're sharing it very candidly. And because nobody knows what is going to happen anyway, right? We are all just trying to invest based on our understanding of the market. And to be frank, I have never invested in crypto. So because I'm always very skeptical about what is the use of crypto in the in the real physical world, and I
yeah.
haven't been able to get an answer.
And it
But
is
there
very
is
scary. It is very scary because it is unregulated, right?
right,
When things go down, some of the coins, shit coins they call it as, go down like up to 80%, right? Which is
right, right,
essentially complete loss of the value. So
right,
if it's, as long as it is unregulated, it is gonna be volatile and it is gonna be crazy.
right. And you never know what who is playing behind the scenes. There may be a big company who is just pushing the price up, and then suddenly one fine day they
Right,
might
right.
have
And I
been.
think couple of years back, even big companies also started taking like I remember Tesla had certain bitcoins at one point. They openly, like in one of their quarterly results, they disclosed that we have spent X amount of money for purchasing bitcoins.
Hmm.
And then they used one of the quarters. I remember it's probably an year old news. They used
Uh-huh.
one of the quarters to wash them out or to take profits on them just to keep their numbers afloat and look good. So,
Right.
I mean,
So they've essentially made it public and then increased the public confidence on Bitcoin so that people can invest, then price would have gone up and then they sold it to make profit, right? That's what
yeah,
they would
yeah.
have done.
And Elon loves doing all this kind of things, anyways. So,
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, they also announced that they will accept, I think, Dogecoin
yeah,
for buying the Tesla, right?
yeah, yeah.
But then they
That whole
quickly
that whole
changed their
Department of Government Efficiency name came from Dodge only.
mind.
If you
Yeah,
look.
right, right, right. But that's very good. And do you know what is you mentioned the company called ASML, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Do
ASML.
you know what do they do? What kind of AI they are developing?
Um, they have uh, cryptography. So it's a kind of a cryptography that every chip what Nvidia produces has to go a one round of iteration to ASML. So the
Okay,
new chips, whatever it is coming over there. So it goes to ASML. But yeah, I mean, if you're
okay,
planning to buy, don't maybe it saves stock. I mean, I'll say because
okay,
the earnings is there next week, so that's why I'm just like little skeptical. So yeah, but it is a very nice company. That's the only company which is having a monopoly in the AI space. China has tried replicating that
mhm,
process, but they were not able to do that.
okay,
It's a complex process of cryptography, how they do the imaging and all of the chips.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know much about it, but yeah, I mean, it's a very niche market where they are the only, this is the only company which has the monopoly actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you do day trading, right? Is it you or
Yeah,
Angad?
Angad said, but yeah, I am also like an active investor actually. I'll say.
Okay. So can you
And
help
I
me?
don't day trade, by the way. I just do swing trade because doing a job and then doing day trading, it's not my cup of tea. And it requires a completely different skin for doing day trading,
Okay,
which I tried out. I paid my, they say, pay the
okay,
tuition to market, right, by losing money, and that's how you learn. So I have
okay,
gone through that phase and I learned what works best for me.
okay. Yeah, I've never tried day trading, but I want to learn how people do it. I met one uncle, Desi uncle, last month. He's retired, and he told me
Are you
that
talking about Pradeep?
no, 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 no. So, so you know Pradeep?
Pradeep Mittal. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I don't personally know him, but apparently he is in one of the WhatsApp group uh,
Yes, yes.
for the Dallas group that does
Right,
like
right,
financial tips and trades and whatnot. So I'm part of that group. Yeah.
right. Yeah, no, but the story is not about Mr. Pradeep. This is someone else. I don't want to name them. This guy is over 80. He retired in his 60s from a US government job, and he's a Desi guy. Okay. So he told me that he is getting a lot of money, around 150K in social securities and pension and everything. And then he does day trading. And last year he made 350K in day trading. So he's retired and he's making over half a million just enjoying his life. So,
Yeah, it is possible because with
yeah.
options, I'm seeing people getting so much of returns every time.
Mhm.
Even if um, I had like few stocks where I go ahead and buy leaps where I'm super confident. So I get 300% returns, and I just get like sometimes, oh, it's an option. It's a 1 year expiry. My stocks have gone like 20% higher, but my options has like now 300% gain. So it's possible. I mean, people are getting a lot of money here.
Yeah, I asked him the same question, but is he doing options? He said, no, I don't do options. It's just like day
So,
trading.
so yeah, that's the catch, Anil. People with a bigger size portfolio who have larger amount of cash in hand, once they
Uh-huh.
attain themselves to, or once they reach that stage, they stop or doing all this degenerate stuff of doing
Uh-huh.
options and doing day trades and buying zero DTs or weekly expiration calls and puts. They start trading only on the common stocks because
Okay.
just because they have a cash, right? They have, let's say if
Right.
somebody has a million or $2 million of cash, why do they
Uh-huh.
need to go and buy expensive options? Let's say they want to buy Meta and do day trade, right? $700 you can, even if you put 50% of your equity, which is not recommended again, but you have that size, you can just, and if it that stock moves like $10 also a day, you have 1,000 um, amount of
Yeah.
shares, you just made 10,000 right in a day without having, without risking anything. And if it that doesn't work out, you can obviously exit at your break even, or you can dollar cost average just to break even or make more money and get out. So
Right. So
this big
that's a
size
catch.
pockets, they don't deal, they don't directly trade. Even if they deal or do options, like somebody said, right, they'll just do 2027 expiration leap calls or leap puts or whatever the on the big names or big
Right.
companies that they are confident in.
Right. I think that's the catch because he told me that he keeps half a million for his play. So he did not tell me all the strategies, but he said that yes, it's okay for him to, go half a million up and down daily.
Yeah, I mean,
So
imagine 10,000, $20,000 person who wants to buy and sell.
yeah.
They'll just get a very smaller chunk, right? Even if they just buy shares and not deal with options, right? So, and if the move is small, you just get like $50, $100, $200 a day as your profit or
Well,
loss, whatever, right? So,
I mean, it should be. I mean, it's option should. I mean, it's the gone world where options were always speculative. The game has changed now. Options provide a
Hmm.
good amount of hedge sometimes. I mean, I have a portfolio which I wanted to protect using the put options, so which always works in my favor because I am paying it. It's similar to an insurance what I'm paying. So it depends, like how you're using that option. Another side which I would like you to explore, Anil, is
Hmm.
basically selling options, which is basically you can get the premium
Okay.
every now and then, not buying options but selling options. Do some research on it. Selling puts
Okay.
and selling calls, it will definitely going to help you. So if you have 100 stocks of, like, let's say Nvidia, so let's say it is of $180, so
Uh-huh.
you have blocked your $18,000 on that Nvidia stock. Now what you do
Uh-huh.
is, or you think about, like, by the next month's expiry the Nvidia might not go $200. So what you will do is,
Okay.
you will sell $200 call of Nvidia expiring next month, and it is worth $5. So
Okay.
you are basically collecting a premium that your stock is not going way beyond 200, and you
Uh-huh.
are getting $5 from it, that is $500 for the next month
Okay.
expiry. So it's a free money kind of. So if I have a lot of money,
Okay.
500K, yes, I can also generate a good income. At least I can, uh, I mean, yeah, I can also generate good income by selling options. It's And let's say Nvidia, what would be my loss if Nvidia stock by next month expiry, let's say it goes way beyond 200, because I have sold the call at the 200 strike for the next month, right?
Uh-huh.
So now the Nvidia crosses 210. So
Uh-huh.
my net profit is, because I had the 200 strike call option sold for $5, that
Uh-huh.
$500 selling call will give me $500 as a profit, and then
Okay.
the Nvidia stock has gone from 180 to 200. That is another $20 profit. But now the stock is at 200 and 220. That stock will go away from me, because I mean I'll not be having the whole profit of 200, because I've already sold a call of 200 strike. So my net profit will be $2,500, which is a decent amount. Not Nvidia every time goes
Right.
beyond 10% rise every month, right? So
Okay.
I mean, if you play properly, you can make good money. I mean, if you have large money, I always think of, I'm having large money, then I can every day generate some income, because it's called as theta decay. Every day, with the time passes by, the options decay in value, and you get premium out of it. So you don't have to buy options, but sell options to get money from
Okay.
from
Still options.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting to know. I'll start looking into these things because I want to retire very quickly in my life.
Everyone do.
I don't want to keep working like this. But that was a very good thing that I started. You,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's a good income from me since many years now. So
uh-huh.
so yeah, I mean, it's a free money actually, if you know how to sell options actually.
Yeah, you guys should join the spaces live every time.
Oh
We can
no.
have this kind of discussion. Otherwise, I keep answering visa questions and people get bored. This is interesting. People
Yeah.
get interested in knowing how to make money. Right? Everyone
Yeah.
wants to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else wants to speak? Because we have been speaking for quite long and nobody requested to speak. Anybody has any visa questions or market questions or anything? It looks like a lot of less attendance today because of maybe Wednesday. That's it. Is there anything that I can help you guys with any visa or anything else? The Steel Waves has joined. Sai Kiran wants to speak.
Hey, and just a quick question.
Yeah.
One of my friends, uh, they doesn't have a job, and his extension is coming up next month, and
Uh-huh.
he's in the market right now looking for a job. And did you
Uh-huh.
hear anybody without a job filing the visa extension, like literally after announcing this 100K fee and stuff, right? Did
Yeah,
you
a lot
heard
of
about any
people,
sit?
lot of people have filed the extension or the transfer in the grace period.
Okay,
Yeah, no issues. They're not
okay,
asking for
because
pay. Yeah.
okay, okay. Because I mean, I what I when I had a discussion, I have explained the same to my friend, and I was like, no, the company is kind of worried to file a visa extension because they don't have a job right now, and they're still in the market looking for a new job. So
No, but he will need the job. Without the
yeah,
job,
yeah.
I don't think
I mean,
anybody
like
will.
they're still on consultancy, right? The consultancy they can still, they keep paying him right until he gets the job, at least.
Right.
So they have still legally here working. I mean, like not to the client, but at least for the consultancy they're still an employee and they get paid every month.
So,
But
oh,
the
so
only
you mean the project? It doesn't have a client
yeah, it
project.
doesn't have the project. Yeah, client project.
Yeah, no issues. They can file the extension
Okay, okay, thank you.
because H1B is filed by the sponsor employer,
Yeah, right. But
right? So
they
as the,
were kind of hesitant, like they might ask for project details and all that stuff, but not sure how their scenario was. I was just wondering, I thought I'll ask if there was somebody
that,
who have filed.
yeah, yeah, that's a different question. They will be able to handle the project and other stuff if they really
Yeah,
want to keep that person in the US. That's not a big
yeah.
problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Anybody else wants to speak
Hi,
about
Anil.
Mark?
What do you think about the green card dates moving?
That's $1 million question.
And how accurate is the dates on your website? Your website has a calculator, right? Like, how do you calculate those dates based on what kind of data?
It's an algorithm that we have written. So it just tries to predict based on the current visa bulletin
Uh,
and how many I-140s are pending approximately, and then it tries to mimic how USCIS approves the application. So it's a mathematical formula that we have written,
so
and
does
it
it also
works.
counts like people like applying in both
Yes,
EB2 and EB3? And like,
yes. It
okay,
it counts everything. It's a very elaborate algorithm that we have developed over the years, and of course, it's not 100% correct, but what we have seen is it gives you a ballpark idea about how many months to wait. It it may be 2 or 3 months here and there, but it will give you an idea.
okay. Yeah, mine is like January 2016, and it feels like forever. I'm on my like sixth or seventh H1 extension. So
Yeah, yeah, it's very far away. After it touches January 2015, it will again start going very slow. Like maybe just couple of weeks will be covered in like one whole year.
okay.
That's what we are expecting because every year about 40,000 I-140s are approved in one category, and each I-140 is equal to 2.2 people in real world as per USCIS data. So which means that for every I-140 they need 2.2 green card numbers, and Indians get about like 3,000 green cards in EV2 and 3,000 in EV3. So total of 6,000 green cards to cover EV2 and EV3. And if you have about like 40 into 2.2, which is like, let's say 90,000 green cards are needed to finish 1 year of quota. So to give you a simple example, to go from Jan 2015 to December 2015, USCIS needs 90,000 green cards. Okay. And they only get about 10,000 per year for whole EB category for India. So imagine how many years will it take to complete the Jan 2015.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's about 9 years, right? 9 to 10 years time to complete to start from Jan and end up in December. It's going to take about 9 to 10 years approximately.
Okay. Yeah, I've
That's
checked on your site. It says like I might at least file for EAD in 2029 or 2030. So I was just seeing like where the data comes from the
what is
algorithm.
your it is Jan 2016 for you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then it is adjusting the factor in EB1 movements and EB5 movements also.
Okay.
It gives a ballpark estimation. It's not that in truth. If they don't move the dates next month or they move it back next month, then the date will change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. That tool is really helpful. Yeah. Even if you want to just get a ballpark estimate.
Yeah. At least it doesn't give you the hope that it's going to get current next year.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, I hope that everyone gets current quickly and everyone gets a green card. But the situation is pretty hard for
Yeah, I've seen
Indians.
the news that they might also like tighten the green cards also.
Yes, they are tightening the citizenship also. So you never know. They're trying to basically, make it difficult to become a US citizen. And the first process usually everyone follows is either come here on a work visa or family sponsorship. But they're trying to tighten everything
Okay.
that less people become citizens or less people become green card holders.
Yeah, so I was thinking like based on my priority date, I think my kid will turn 21 before that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what is the age of your son right now?
No, my daughter like she's 12 years old.
8. Yeah, you are on the edge, I would say.
Yeah,
Pretty close. I mean, right on the border.
yeah. If Trump doesn't kick me out until then.
I would say that you still have like about 5 years to wait till
Yeah.
Till the kid turns 17, you have time to decide what to do. But if the dates don't move that fast until when she turns 17, then take some action.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to like explore EB5 also, but my wife said she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. Everyone's wife says the same thing, but it
Rather put
depends.
like put that 800 or 1 million and go back to India, take that money.
Well, it depends. My personal opinion is that people who have lived in the US for about 5 years, then it is very difficult for you and your kids to settle back in India because the way of life is very different. The
Right,
culture
right.
is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. I don't even know. I was just like talking to my wife, and then the kids are actually reluctant to move as well. So might not
Exactly.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I have spoken to many families who have gone back. What they have realized is that parents were able to settle down because they were born there, they had their childhood spent in India, but their kids who grew up in America could not adjust easily to the Indian environment and Indian school system. So
Right.
what happened was when the children passed 12th grade in India, they came to US for studies
Okay.
because they want to go back to the system and they like the way of life here.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
that's a challenge Indian parents face if they move back. But it depends on your family situation as well. So you are the best judge of your situation. But I would say that if you like to live in US, then think strongly about EB5. It can seriously give you a very good peace of mind because money can be earned again. But with EB5, you're buying time and peace of mind both.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just about how you think towards it. A lot of people who filed in 2023 and 2024 in EB5, Indians, have
Mm.
already got the green card within 1 year.
So
Yeah,
that
that's
counts like
one
for
thing.
like so they would give you a conditional green card, right? So would that conditional time for the conditional green card count towards your 5 year residency requirements or?
Yes, everything counts. So the day you get conditional green card, your timer starts. After 5 years, you can file the citizenship.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one good thing about it. The date is current. So if you file, you immediately get EAD and advance parole. And if the date stays current, they are approving green card also pretty quickly for EB5 candidates. In some
Mm.
cases, I've even heard 7 months, 8 months total, start to end, start to
Oh,
green
yeah,
card.
yeah, that's.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know. Maybe
even,
with EB1 and EB2 also getting tight, I think EB5 would like also be retrogressed. That's what I'm thinking.
yes, EB5 will get retrogressed, but nobody knows when.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will definitely, because I know a lot of Indians have already filed in the past 3 years. So it can retrogress anytime.
Yeah.
But but till that time, if you file, you can get foot in the door and get EAD at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and since it is current in the final election, and if you file, your child's age will get locked.
Right.
That is another benefit for people who have Indian born kids, India born kids. Okay, so think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Think about it
That's
with cool mind
yeah.
and
I'll probably nag my wife tonight. Let's see what.
yeah.
But the category that was created for EB5
Mhm.
um, is only till 2027 or something, right?
Yes.
Later, that will be closed as well. That path will be.
Yeah, usually they renew it. Last time also it was stopped in I think 2022, but then the Congress renewed it with increased fees. And this is the same thing that we are expecting in 2027 also, because lots of businesses who depend on this funding will lobby for it, and then they will force Congress to bring a new version, but with increased fee. Last time, the fee was increased from 500K, not the fee, the investment is the right word. The investment
No,
amount from 500K to 800K. And now We are
I,
expecting that they might raise it to 1.1 million.
I think they created a new set of like a new portion, right? Like
Yes, new
uh,
program.
uh, new program kind of thing. So they segregated few visas. I don't know the
Yes,
terminology, but um,
yes. They created new subcategories within EB5. One is rural, and the other one is high unemployment urban area, and the third one is infrastructure. The
yeah.
rural has
So
20%
that is going to
reservation.
end, and that should get extended through Congress only, right? Not through
Yes,
admin.
yes, right. So the expectation is that it will be extended,
Okay. I
and
doubt
even if
with
it
this
is,
current admin.
yeah, quite possible. But
I'm
usually,
thinking, right? So what they might phase out these and then like put Trump gold cards in those process. That's
No,
what
yes,
I'm
that's
Trump
thinking.
possible.
Gold Card, they're talking only EB1, EB2. I don't know what they're thinking, but EB5, they did not talk about that. They want to carve out from EB1 and EB2 for the Trump Gold Card.
Right, because Trump Gold Card, what they're saying is it's not an investment; it's a fee. So you just pay the fee to the government and get the green card. That's what they're saying. In EB5, you invest the money in a business, and then as a byproduct, get a green card. And the money can grow, the money can become less, but it is still your money. But in case of gold card, they are saying it's the fee that you pay to the US government and forget it. It's gone. So it is quite possible that they might try to create that program and replace the EB5, but the EB5 market segment sentiment says that they're expecting it to be extended in some way. Even if the rural and the other carved out special categories are not extended, there will be something else given to the EB5 community. Because there are a lot of businesses, billions of dollars under investment, and the industry is quite big. It's not small. So their lobby makes a lot of efforts to continue the program.
I really don't know if they really get back the money after they invest.
Yeah, of course, there is a risk. So you have to find out the project that is more reliable. I have heard from a lot of people who got their money back. Some of them got partial money back, and for some the money is still stuck even after getting the green card. All the situations are possible. It depends from project to project. But yes, you are right. There is a high risk. I don't deny that. I know a lot of Guju people. In fact, one of my friend is a Guju who invested through EV5 in a Hilton hotel and they were a group of friends. He invested when the amount was 500K. He recently got his final green card, the unconditional one. So I know, and he is still making the money in the project. That is one success story that I know personally. But yes, it varies. It's a business, and the project can go down, project can go bankrupt. Everything is possible, all situations. So if you decide to invest, just do the way, good due diligence about the financial aspect of the project, and then only invest. Don't just blindly invest in any project.
Yeah, you need to understand how the business runs and all those things.
Yes, right. I agree. And it's not easy. It's the way they set up the EB5 businesses is very complex. It's not straightforward business. That's true. Okay, and anything else that you want to discuss about EB5 or any other type of visa or anything? We have, okay, the two stock market experts have left the chat. So otherwise, they could have answered stock market questions also. Anybody else who wants to speak? Steel Waves, I think it was Steel Waves who was speaking.
Yeah, no, Anil, I'm saying correct. Yeah.
Okay. And Srinivasan, did you get the chance to speak?
Mm, yeah, I was talking about the EP5.
Okay, okay. Sorry, because the Twitter does not show me who was speaking like in real time.
Yeah, the guy who asked the question on EB5, I think, left. I was discussing about the 2027 thing.
Okay, okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, if we don't have any more speakers, then we can call it a day. It was a good discussion today. And thank you all for joining. And I hope you guys join next time also. Thanks and have a good night.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.